हाँ जी बच्चे, so already we have started with the laws of inheritance, and the first law we have discussed, that was law of paired factor. As according to Mendel, he proposed that the characteristic of every organism's character, that is a trait, any characteristic of the organism can be described with the genotype that having a pair of factors in it. Okay, in the terms of Mendel, you'll be writing it that a trait is possible by the expression of a pair of factors. Okay, trait and factors, right? This was first, that is law of paired factors. But after that, there were certain of the, you say, complications made or exceptions were made, because of which there was the discontinuity of that law. Similar is here, that is the law of dominance. What was those exception? Why it has been eliminated from the modern genetics? That you will be studying in your higher classes. But here you are only to describe the four laws as conclusions made by Mendel. Now coming to the second law. This is the law of dominance. In the law of dominance, through this particular law, Mendel has tried to provide the information that if in a pair, that is a heterozygous pair of these genes, factors, factors according to Mendel, in a heterozygous pair of factors, the dominating will express itself, whereas the recessive is going to suppress. Okay, this is going to express and this is going to suppress. And as a result, what will be the phenotype of this kind of the genotype pair? It will be violet. In concern to the pea plant, that characteristics we have already written in the table form. In concern to pea plant, the flower color was either violet or white. The violet characters was of that of the dominant one, and the white one that was from the recessive one. Now when the two together comes, that is this pair of the genes in which there is one dominating gene and one recessive gene, we term this pair or this condition as heterozygous condition. We term it as heterozygous. Hetero means different. Heterozygous condition. So in a heterozygous condition, there is possibility of dominating gene to express. This was a law of dominance. But again, it was disproved by the certain people, those who have worked it after on this particular law, that is on the law of dominance, and it was disapproved, and hence it is not continued in the modern genetics now. Okay, as the second law of inheritance. It is not continued. Clear? For the other conditions, let's say homozygous conditions are there. The homozygous dominant condition as well as homozygous recessive condition. There are homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive. As the term says, hetero means different. It had the different pair, a pair with the different genes. Now it is homo. Homo means that same, a pair with the same genes. And now if we are writing the dominant character, we'll be writing both as capital V's. This is a homozygous dominant pair of genes or factors. Similarly, if it is homozygous recessive, then it will be small v, small v. I told you to write it in proper cursive, properly differentiating from the other pair of genes. Okay, so it is homozygous recessive or homozygous dominant or heterozygous. But this law says that if in such a pair where there is both dominating and a recessive gene, the expression will only be that of the dominating one, not the recessive. So the dominating is going to express, whereas the recessive is going to suppress. Fine, clear? So this is heterozygous, homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive. It is only this condition under which a recessive gene pair will express itself. Otherwise, in the two pairs, you can see dominating expression is only going to come. This expression will be violet, this expression will also be violet, and this expression will only lead to the recessive character, that is white. Okay, so this is homozygous recessive when it is only homozygous recessive when a recessive gene is going to express itself. Express means that is, it is going to provide its characteristic. It is only under the homozygous recessive condition. Got this? So this was the second law, law of dominance by Mendel. Now coming to the third law, which is very important, and as according to the modern genetics now, this has been termed as the first law of genetics or first law of inheritance. Okay, this is law of segregation. Law of segregation. You won't be writing the first and the second and third like that. Okay, you'll be simply naming, if you get a question to explain the whole laws of inheritance, all the laws of inheritance, if you get to have this question, you'll be naming 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. You'll be writing all the four laws that are described to you in this class. Okay. So this is law of segregation. Third law, that is by Mendel, law of segregation. What do you understand by the term segregation? It means separation. Separation. So what this law states, first of all, the statement of this, then we will be coming to the example and its description. So what is the statement for this? You can write it down. This law states that, the law of segregation states that during gametogenesis, gametogenesis is what? That is the formation of gametes. So during gametogenesis, the formation of gametes, during gametogenesis, the two factors of a trait, gets separated. The two factors of a trait gets separated or segregated. You can write the word segregated also, or you can also write the word separated. Okay, both separated or segregated, both ways it is correct, right? To describe this particular law of segregation, to explain the law of segregation, in the previous year's board exams, if you will see, there was a direct question, what do you understand by the law of segregation? What is law of segregation? And explain it with example. This was a direct question of 3 marks and several times of 5 marks also, right? So accordingly, you have to write the first statement and then it is described by the, or with the help of, this can be described with the help of a monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross. You can add all these terms in the terminology topic, which we had already started, no? Terminology from your chapter. So these terms, all these terms, they can be separately asked, what do you understand by these terms? What is a monohybrid cross? What is a heterozygous condition? Or what is homozygous dominant condition or recessive, like that? Okay. So just keep on adding these things into the terminology topic. Okay. Coming back to this, what is monohybrid cross? Mono means single. When a cross is constructed on the basis of a single characteristic, that is only one single characteristic is taken and a cross is built on that, then we say it is monohybrid cross. Okay, mono means single. Just the inheritance pattern of a single character, only a single character transmission, that is how it is inherited from the parents to the offspring. Only that much if we are saying, and that is a monohybrid cross. Okay, we are only looking onto the inheritance of a single character. So this cross deals with the inheritance pattern or the study of the inheritance pattern of the single characteristic, right? For example, we can construct a cross for this law of segregation. We can construct a cross. Example I'm taking here is that of stem height. The characteristic that I'm using here, that is stem height. And there are two probabilities from that table, you can see it out, that the stem height can be either tall as dominant or dwarf as recessive, right? So for these things to happen. That is how its inheritance is going on and on. For that, we need to see. For that, we need to see that what is the inheritance pattern of the single characteristic. Okay. So here we'll be constructing the monohybrid cross, taking an example of stem height with the two conditions, that is tall and dwarf. These are the phenotypes. I've already told you the physical appearance of the characteristic. That what you see. You can see it is tall, you can see it is dwarf, right? So if you can see the characteristic, that is its phenotype, that is its physical appearance, that is the phenotype. And what is the genotype which is responsible for the two? That is, if it is tall pure, then it will be denoted by a pair of capital T's. And if it is dwarf, it is denoted by a pair of small t's. Okay, so dwarf is by the pair of small t. As I already told you that for the recessive characters expression, it is only homozygous recessive condition which is responsible. And there you can see the homozygous recessive condition, there will be the expression of the recessive character. And the recessive character according to the stem height of the pea plant is what? That is dwarf. Okay, so this is what the dwarf characteristic and the tall characteristic. Now to construct the cross for this, so coming to the cross, monohybrid cross that we are to make for this. The cross starts from the first step of Mendel, that was a selection of pure breeds. According to Mendel, what was the first step? It was selection of pure breeds. So when to write the pure breeds, we'll be writing pure dominant crossed with pure recessive. Okay, pure dominant crossed with pure recessive. This is what we have selected the parents. For starting with the cross, we select our two plants that which are the pure breeds. So pure dominant कौन सा है? That is the tall one. And pure recessive क्या है? That is dwarf. These are the phenotypes again. What are the genotypes of it? That is capital T, and for dwarf it is small t, small t. Now applies the law of segregation here. What is that law of segregation? At the time of gamete formation. These are the gametes now, right? Gametes banane lage aage parent se. So what was the statement? That is during gametogenesis, the factors of a trait get separated. So what was the trait? Tall. What were the factors? These one. They get separated. So when they get separated, it is like this, right? You won't be putting a comma in between. Don't put that. Simply separate them with the lines like this. This is small t, and capital T, capital T. Right? Now, when the gametes undergo the fusion, the first formed generation, this is F1 generation. The first formed generation or the F1 generation will be obtained after the fusion or fertilization of the gametes. Now, what are the probabilities of F1 generation's characteristics? What are the probabilities or the possibilities? This gamete from the pure tall parent has the possibility to cross or to join with either of the two that are from the dwarf parent. So this can fuse with either of the two. So capital T, small t making one pair. Similarly, if this fuses with this one, then again same, it is capital T, small t. Right? Then there is possibility of the second even. जो second gamete बना है वो भी कहीं पे भी fuse कर सकता है. So if this fuses with this, the result will be again capital T, small t. And if this one fuses with this, the result will be again capital T, small t. So here we can see that for a generation which is obtained from the pure parents, a generation which is obtained from the pure parents has all pure hybrids. Now, what do you understand by pure hybrid? A pure hybrid is a one in which both the characters from both the parents will be seen. All the characters from the both parents will be seen. Here we are talking about only one character, na? So we are considering only one character's genes. In the next cross, we'll be considering two characters at the same time. When we are considering two characters at the same time, then we will see that all the varieties are possible in one organism or in one offspring. If that happens, then it is a pure breed. Okay, it is a sorry, it's a pure hybrid, right? So all these obtained from the pure parents are hybrid varieties, pure hybrids with 100% tall organisms. They are having 100% tall, that is all the organisms are tall. That is its phenotype. This is the phenotype, na? And also, what is the genotype for this? It is again 100% all sharing the same feature, that is of capital T small t. The gene pair is also same, capital T small t, right? So this is a 100% same genotype. I am writing here type. Okay. Another term will be introduced in the second step. Filhal, it is phenotype and genotype. Clear? Right? Continuing the same, as Mendel said that his experiment consists of first selection of pure breeds, second is artificial hybridization. हो गया ना hybridization? Third is selfing. Selfing was his third step. Selfing क्या है? That is to take either of the offsprings from F1 generation for the next cross. That is to continue this cross, taking random selection of any of the two offsprings as parents for next generation. Okay, so we can select any, all are same, the resultant will be the same. That is, we are selecting, let's say, two parents out of it, that is capital T, small t now, to continue the next generation. So this is what we term it as selfing. Selfing is what? That is when we take the random selection of the offsprings of first generation for bringing out second generation as parents. Okay, that is selfing. Selfing, ing. Okay. Now continuing this, I'm continuing it here on this side. You will be continuing it on the same hand side. ठीक है, आप अपनी notebook पे नीचे नीचे continue करते रहोगे. I'm continuing it here on this side. So continuing this, the first generation is this from the parents. So the parents that we have obtained from the F1 generation, they are capital T small t crossed with capital T small t. Till now, both of these are of expression tall. Both are showing the phenotype as that of tallness. Clear? After this, what is next? After parents, gamete formation. Okay, the steps will be the same. So now making the gametes. For second generation, it is a continued generation. Okay, for second generation, again the two will segregate. That is according to the law of segregation. Here also, capital T small t, they will be segregating capital T small t. Done. Now is the second generation which is obtained. Here you will be writing F2 generation because it is in continuation. So the first formed after parents was F1. From offsprings, now the another form will be F2. F2 generation. Now again, the possibility of this to fuse with either of the gametes from other parents. What will be the result? Capital T fusing with capital T. This is undergoing the formation of capital T's pair. This can also fuse with this capital T small t. Similarly, this can fuse with this one. Now, when you write this pair specially, what the students do here, they write small t in front, which is wrong. This should not be your denotion of a pair. Every time the one which is going to express, that will have the control. जिसने अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस करना है वही कंट्रोल करेगा ना, और वो आगे बढ़ेगा हमेशा. ठीक है, वो आगे चलेगा. कैपिटल टी स्मॉल टी. ठीक है, भले ही आपका यहाँ पे लिंक इस तरह से आ रहा है स्मॉल टी कैपिटल टी, बट यू विल बी राइटिंग इन एक्सप्रेशन ऑलवेज द डोमिनेटिंग इन front. Okay, that is at starting. Now the another pair is small t small t. Now here comes the answer to you, Mitali. What you asked, that there will be all hybrids which will be obtained after the fusion, after the artificial hybridization. No, they are not hybrids. You can see these are not hybrids. These are the offsprings but not the hybrids. Hybrid क्या होता है? जिसमें दोनों पेरेंट्स के करेक्टर्स होंगे, ठीक है, वो थोड़े हों वो ज्यादा हों लेकिन दोनों के करेक्टर्स होंगे, वो हाइब्रिड होंगे. तो यहाँ पे तो सिर्फ टॉल पेरेंट के रह गए, यहाँ पे सिर्फ ड्वार्फ के रह गए, ठीक है. सो दिस इज इट. दिस is a pair that is capital T, small, capital T. Firstly, focusing on the genotype first. Okay, then we'll be coming to the phenotype. So from this particular line, that is F2 generation wali line, you can find out that there is a variation in the genotype. There are the different kind of the genotypes which are available. So we'll be writing these in the form of the genotypic ratio. Okay, we'll be providing the ratio. Leave one line in between and then write the genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio. Ratio is obtained how? That is, start writing from the one left side, capital T, right? Initialize it at 1. 1 likha. Then another one, that which is different, write it at the next. If it is different, then write it at the next and then provide 1. Because it's the first organism with the capital T small t. Again, the third organism is capital T small t. It is 2. Second added to this only, so we'll be making it 2. Okay, and then last third one, it is still different, that is small t, and it's 1. So total of 4 organisms, and the genotypic ratio we have obtained is 1:2:1. Total is 4. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. Okay, so this is the genotypic ratio. Fine. Coming to the phenotype of this, what will be the expression of this pair of the genes? It will be tall. What is the expression of the next one? That is again tall, because of law of dominance. In a heterozygous pair, the dominant is going to express itself. So it's tall and tall, but this is homozygous recessive pair, so it will be dwarf. Now looking on to the phenotypic ratio, if we look on to the phenotypic ratio, what is the phenotypic ratio now for F2 generation? This is phenotypic ratio. Ratio is when we calculate the ratios, that is understood that if there are variations in that particular thing. Okay, we are having particular variations. It is not 100% same, then we will be writing it in the ratio form. Because it was 100% same, so we have written phenotype, genotype. Okay, here it is ratio. So what are the two varieties that we have obtained? That is tall and dwarf. So tall ratio dwarf. And how many talls in the generation? 1, 2, 3, right? So 3 talls after 1 dwarf. So this is the possibility. So this is how we obtained the ratios, that is the phenotypic as well as the genotypic ratios of F2 generation with the pure parents. We started with the pure parents, that is pure dominant and pure recessive. So with the pure parents, how we led to the formation of these characteristics. Back again into the generations, we can see the characteristics. Here it was all lost. The genotypes was all lost because capital T and small t was not seen in the F1 generation. Even the dwarf character was totally lost. मतलब phenotype में भी आपको नजर ही नहीं आया. It was all tall. कहाँ गया ये dwarf? This dwarf was obtained in the F2 generation. Okay, this dwarf was again obtained in F2 generation. So why this we call it as a recessive? Because a recessive character will not be seen in all the successive generations. That is why it is recessive. A dominant will be seen in every generation, but a recessive will be seen only in few generations. Okay, it will be missing in some and seen in some, you can say, right? But not in continuation. So this is how the characteristics they may transmit from the parents to the offspring, right? So this is the complete law of this segregation and a complete monohybrid cross. If you get to have this question for 3 to 5 marks, then you will be describing it as this whole. You won't be missing even a single word or even a single denotation here. Okay, you'll be writing it as the same in your answer sheets if there will be question to describe the law of segregation or to describe a monohybrid cross. So this will be from top to bottom, it should be all same. Now, if you have any questions, you can please ask me from this particular topic. Till this, if you have any questions, tomorrow, I think we'll be starting with the next topic. That is, we'll see after your questioning, we'll see. Yes, raise your hands for the question. Yes. You have any doubts from this whole topic, you can ask me, please.